Hello, crafty friends. Welcome to Crafty Creations with me, Tammy. Thanks so much for joining me today. In today's video, I'm going to show you 5 easy ways to add color to your die cuts. Stick around till the end if you want a 6th bonus tip to make your die cut creations pop even more. For our first technique, we're going to be using pattern paper. I've used this gorgeous lace-like pattern paper, but you can use any pattern paper you have in your stash, and these beautiful flower dies, which I purchased from Temu. I will list the links to all the supplies I used today down below. Again, you can use any dies you have in your stash. I'm going to be cutting this off camera, just sticking it down with some unwanted washi tape, just so that the die cuts don't move around, and I will be back shortly. For technique 2, we're going to be using Distress Oxide. We're using Wilted Violet in this example. Make sure your ink pad is nice and wet to give you great coverage when putting it onto the cardstock. The cardstock I'm using is from a local store called Spotlight here in New Zealand. This cardstock is not mixed media paper, but definitely works well with the Distress Oxide. Distress Oxide is water reactive, so just another bonus tip is to add some water to give it a different look. In this example, I also used a grip mat. This definitely helps with holding your cardstock in place and just really easy doing ink blending. I'll be using the same dies for each technique so that you can see what the end product looks like. Again, use your same washi tape every time, as they can be reused over and over. On to technique number 3, smooshing with Distress Oxide. We'll be using spun sugar, kitsch flamingo, and picked raspberry in this technique. And basically, we're going to just get some ink on our acrylic plate and spray with some water and use the smoosher. Now, if you'd like to get more information about the smoosher, I got this amazing idea from a lady by the name of Natalie Bowers. She has an amazing YouTube channel called NB Cards. I will link her channel down below in the description. I'm very grateful to have come across this video creating the smoosher, because the smoosher works amazing. So yeah, using the smoosher, spun sugar was the first Distress Oxide I used, and then just it is very important to dry your paint in between the layers, because this is water reactive. If it's not dry, it will mix, where if it's dry, it will layer. The next color we're using is picked raspberry, and we're just going to continue doing the same technique over and over and drying the ink after each layer. If you find any of these techniques helpful in any way, please hit the like button down below. A bit of a disclaimer, this is officially my first YouTube video and you are my first audience. I look forward to growing my channel and creating more content. Leave a comment below and let me know what other content you'd like to see, what type of greeting cards or techniques you would like to know more about. The last color I will be using is Kitsch Flamingo, and once that's done, I will be drying it and cutting off camera. For technique 4, we'll be using washi tape. You can use any color, any pattern, whatever your heart's desire. There's no right or wrong. Just going to fill up the cardstock, sticking them one below the other until the cardstock is all filled up. For technique 5, we're going to do some heat embossing. You'll need some embossing ink and some embossing powder. I bought the embossing ink from Spotlight here in New Zealand. Again, I will link in the description below. Make sure that you cover the entire card to get a nice even layer of embossing. When pouring your embossing powder over your project, you can be rather generous with the powder because all of the powder will go straight back into the little bottle once you're done. After layering the embossing ink, make sure to dust off all the excess powder before putting all the powder back into your little bottle. And make sure to put the cap back on once you're done because it is very easy to knock it over. When I do heat embossing, I use a little mini oven dish. I feel it distributes the heat more evenly. I also preheat my heat gun for about 30 seconds prior to use because I feel that does help to make the process quicker. Now let's look at the final result. We have pattern paper, distress oxide, smooshing with distress oxide. We've got washi tape and also heat embossing. Thanks so much if you're still watching. Now for the bonus tip as promised is an embossing folder. This is just to create an extra layer of texture and make your die cut really pop. I used a scripture embossing folder because I thought it worked really well with the flowers, but obviously you can use whatever you have on hand in your stash. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free to leave any questions or feedback below. If you have enjoyed today's content and would like to see more, hit the subscribe button below and ring that notification bell to be notified when new content is uploaded. And I will see you soon. Bye for now.